Welcome to Global Morning.
The death toll from flooding.
Most time our politicians just bring in policies too, for sure.
Incidentally, we have several more stories.
The legislature was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rates as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
Before you call a police station, before they even leave, they'll take permission from
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
the struggle as to strike.
The Minister of Education volunteered and said, give me 2 weeks.
It was a lie. The president never gave me any deadline.
But then we understand our guest, Rabiu Adamu, a social political commentator, has just joined us now on the program. Rabiu, thank you for joining us live via Zoom from Kaduna this morning.
Thank you very much for having me. Good morning, viewers and listeners.
All right, great. I want to assume that you can hear us. If that's the case, we thank you again for joining us to look at the papers today. Incidentally, you joined in the middle of the Nation newspaper, and the big story on the front page of it this morning says 50% electricity subsidy for varsities teaching hospitals. The writer here says President has given approval. Says Minister. Right. Okay. I'm just going to ask you this. I mean, to kick the ball rolling this morning, my colleague Jumai Manson and I will be engaging you in this regard for the next couple of minutes.
Good morning, Mr.
Okay.
Rabiu.
Morning, Jumai. It's nice having you.
All right. So let's talk about this 50% electricity subsidy for universities and teaching hospitals. I mean, Rabiu, you have followed the news recently too, and we have seen how that hospitals and universities have been lamenting about the skyrocketing rates they have to pay by way of energy. What does this 50% subsidy mean?
For me personally, and I'm sure for most Nigerians, 50% isn't actually enough to cater for the energy needs of universities and teaching hospitals. Let's not be unmindful of the fact that these are institutions that need to run on electricity or on power 24/7. And then you are saying you have reduced it by 50%. In the first instance, there wasn't any need for even the electricity bill to be increased by whatever percentage it was increased to. And there wasn't any need for any banding to be put in place, you understand? Because as far as analysis are concerned, banding isn't actually meant to improve the electricity situation or to enable other or sectors of the economy that actually need electricity to have it 24/7. It is not actually the case. From where I'm speaking, the area I am now is in Band A, but you find out that at most, probably we'll get electricity for like 8 hours. And then meanwhile, we have been charged for 24 hours. You understand? At that rate, 200 and something naira per watt. You understand? So for me, 50% isn't actually enough because these are key institutions, and then they need to run on power 24/7, like I said. So ideally, they should have been on the existing rate that they are. You understand? On the existing rate. That would have been more fairer to the institutions and to citizens and to patients. And let's not forget, recently I read somewhere that McKinsey has been contracted to link all the hospitals, national hospitals together, you understand, teaching hospitals and then the federal medical centers, you understand. And then patients are expected to pay a certain amount just to get registered, not even for consultation, you understand. And then they have to pay for consultation, you understand. So all those bills, you understand, they are going to be piled on the patients, you understand, who are there to be attended to regain their health back so that they can contribute meaningfully to the society, you understand? And then for the institutions, let's remember that these are young Nigerians that we expect that in the nearest future they will take over the governance of this country. So there needs to be the imbibing of patriotism in them, you understand? But then that is not what we are seeing, you understand? Now, the federal government has said, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to give you loans, you understand? So it's actually going to impact on whatever it is that the students are able to pay, you understand? Because you are saying you have reduced it by 50%. So the universities, of course, they need to pay for this electricity bill,
Right.
you understand? So where are they going to get the funds from? You understand? It has to come
I just want us to yes, your thoughts are very clear on this issue, Rabiu. Thank you so very much. But there's a second headline, I mean, here on the front page of the Nation newspaper this morning. Juma and I spent a couple of minutes chit-chatting about it just a while ago. It says, Consumer Commission moves against arbitrary price fixing. And the writer says, FCCPC CEO Tunji Bello says enforcement begins in September. Price fixing is a global phenomenon, which obviously means that it's not peculiar to Nigeria. But given the uniqueness of our circumstances and situation, how can we, in practical ways, address price fixing, especially given the economic circumstances under which we find ourselves right now?
Well, that will have to go back to right from the budgeting processes, you understand? Because already ministries and agencies of government have been given or have been mandated to generate certain amount of revenue, you understand, on a monthly basis, you understand? And then some of these agencies and some of these heads in these agencies have been given more or less a target, you understand? And some of them, to maintain their seats, they need to reach those targets, you understand, or miss those targets at least, you understand, for them to be able to stay on that seat. So the price fixing issue is mechanism is a welcome idea, but then how it is going to be implemented or is about to be implemented in Nigeria, that is where there's going to be a challenge, because look at the dollar rate, you understand. Most of these goods that come into Nigeria, either in raw material form or half finished goods, and then finally processed and then pushed out to the market, are being sourced using dollar, you understand? And then presently dollar is like Naira is like 1,600 to the dollar. So that is actually going to impact. Somebody has gone to the market and then bought these goods or imported these goods at, say, probably 1,400, you understand? And then you are now saying you want to do price fixing. Okay, so how much do you want him to sell it? At that 1,400 or at less than 1,400, you understand? You understand? And not factoring his own profit, not his own margin, not factoring the expenses that he has incurred in the process of getting those goods from wherever into the supermarket or into his shop or into wherever he's selling those goods. So actually, it's the implementation that is going to be problematic for the commission. You understand? But it's a welcome idea, and I'm sure it's going to help Nigerians. But is that how that implementation is actually going to work? Because, like I said, it has to do with the value of the naira. It has to do with inflation. It has to do with fuel. You understand? Basically, for like 2 weeks now, you can't see fuel at the filling station, and whoever is looking for fuel will have to buy it from the black market. You understand? And then the prices are not stable. You understand? That will actually impact on whatever it is, whatever pricing is obtainable at the shops or at the supermarkets. You understand? Or in the markets. You understand? So I don't see how that is actually feasible. This is something that needs to have been worked out right from the purchasing process, like I said, not midway when the year is almost about to run out. You understand? So I really don't know how the agency intends to fix it. Let me give you a scenario. I was in the market. When was it? Like 2 weeks back, and then I purchased an item, and then I was asking the person, how come that this price keeps growing or moving from one level to the next, you understand? And then he said it is not actually them that are doing it. It is actually from the people or the wholesale dealers that are getting it from. And then also the wholesale dealers are also telling them that it is not them actually. It is to do with the chain of the distribution, you understand? Because they are getting this product probably from the factory, probably from Lagos, probably from the seaports, you understand? And then shipping it from or transporting it from Lagos all the way to Kaduna actually requires a lot of logistics in place, and this logistics require a lot of funding, requires a lot of funds, you understand? So it is not actually their making, and it's not actually their intention to see that this price of goods don't stay stable, but diesel is something else, fuel is something else, and then inflation and so on, the naira value. So it's actually crazy out there, actually.
All right, Mr. Rabio. I have two captions on the Nation newspaper, and I want to talk about striking doctors risk losing pay. And then the writer there says federal government threatens to invoke no work, no pay rule. Now, in your own opinion, do you think these doctors are bent on continuing with this strike because they have, the federal government has lingered when it comes to the rescue of their colleague, no other person than Ganiyu Popola, who has been in captivity for 9 months now? What's your take on this whole strike? And let's look at the fact that we have a serious matter of mpox on the rise in some states. Now, what's the implication of all of this and looking at the strike moving forward?
Thank you very much. The issue is actually a double-edged sword, you understand? On the one hand, they are right, on the other hand, it is actually not humane, kind of, you understand? But then it is something that the government has actually failed to tackle. Security situation in the country is actually something else. And then you find that these colleagues of theirs that have been captured for kidnapped for such a long time, it is not only the gentleman that you just mentioned. There are a lot of them, and then the government doesn't come to their aid. The facilities, medical facilities, don't come to their aid. It is actually doctors themselves, individually, or their family, friends, or their friends, or their unions that come together to put up this money that's been requested by the kidnappers, and then they pay, and then if they are lucky, they finally get them released. You understand? And then the government and medical facilities don't say, oh, okay, so how much was this spent? Let's pay you back or reimburse you or take care of part of that money that has been expended by them. And then if you look at it for patients, they are actually there to receive health care, and then they go there, and then there's nobody to attend to them. So like I said, it's a double-edged sword thing. It is for the government to have been very proactive in tackling the situation. For me, it's more advisable for all those security personnel that have been attached to political personnel, political appointees, you understand, and aides of the presidents and then the governors and what have you. Instead of having such large number of security personnel taking care of one single individual, it's better for the security architecture to be rejigged so that this personnel can be moved to tackle this security situation. And then I find it actually sad, and I can't comprehend it, how kidnappers can stay on the line discussing with colleagues or family relations of kidnapped victims for more than 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes discussing, and then they can be traced. You understand? It is actually saying bad about the Nigerian security architecture. Something actually needs to be done.
Exactly.
And then you find out that the NCC is actually not up and doing, and then the telcos also. They keep saying that okay, they are going to buy a certain number of SIM cards. You understand that have not been registered or have not been linked to NIN. But what about those ones that have been linked to the NIN? And what about those ones that the kidnappers and the what have
Mr.
you?
Rabio, I think it's because we do not have an accurate and efficient database. That's why these things cannot be linked. Don't you think so? Our database, it's very poor. That's why we're going back and forth with NIN and all of these linkage. Don't you think so?
Yeah, you are right. One aspect in that the data is something to talk about. Like I said, NCC is not up and doing, and then the telcos are left to do as they please. They should know the number of SIM cards that are out there. They should know where certain calls are coming in from. You understand? They should know how to tackle all this issue of inability to trace certain calls that are emanating from certain regions. If the calls are able to get through, then that means that they can be tracked, they can be traced. You understand? And then for the NIN, virtually all Nigerians or most Nigerians have NIN now. So I don't see how they're saying that it is because of lack of NIN that they have not been able to trace or stop those SIM cards. Okay, those SIM cards that have not been linked to the NIN, you understand? If they are actually serious about the whole issue, it is something that they can like sieve them from the whole SIM cards that are out there. You understand? And then now track each and every one of those SIM cards to wherever or to whoever is owning that particular SIM card. So data is something, and then the will, the political will, and then the ability, and then the capacity to do what is right is also something that I see that is lacking. You understand? So a whole lot of things needs to be done. For one, NCC have to be up and doing, have to put a good framework in place, and then for the telcos, they also have to see how they manage their data. You understand, and then don't allow their facilities to be used to put Nigerians at a disadvantage. That's the way I see it.
A lot of things need to be put in place. Now, on The Nation, there's two riders there, and I just want us to take it quickly before we move to the next paper. And of course, for individuals, that here it says rule of law must be served. Rule of law must serve all, says NBA president. That alone, that caption by the Nigerian Bar Association president. Don't you think some individuals in our present society, we know that they are above the law? They do not look at that. You might say rule of law applies to all, but some would tell you it doesn't apply to all. What's your take on that? And then another story, of course, this is an interest to Uyi. I always like to tease Uyi with this. It says Canada bars visiting visa holders from work permit. Now, we know that many individuals hide under the guise of visitor's visa in order to travel to these foreign countries, get a work permit, then facilitate their stay. That's the only way individuals in that particular country, like, let me give you an instance. If I have a sister in Canada and I want to jackpot from Nigeria to Canada, you know, that's the word. Let's hide under the jackpot syndrome. She will say, okay, because it's not as how it is in Nigeria here. You have to work, I have to work. So if you want to stay, you have to hide under the guise of you're visiting me, and then at the same time, you will work, and then you can easily facilitate your stay. Now, will this reduce the jackpot syndrome that is happening in Nigeria? And what's the fate of Nigerians who want to travel and to Canada, and at the same time, they cannot work? So what's your take on that quickly now, so we can quickly go to the next newspaper?
Okay. Well, for the Japa team, I think is for Canadians now to like ease the process. They know why they said they don't want it to be that way. You understand? And then for Nigerians, well, recently I see that the Nigerian government have put something in place to do with skills, upskilling of our youth, you understand, so that they can export those skills to foreign countries. And for me, it's advisable for Nigerians to have that required skills so that they can be able to use that to their advantage and then be able to actualize their dreams of moving abroad. You understand? Moving abroad is actually something that's good for the country and for individuals. You understand? And the foreign countries that they intend to visit or move to. You understand? Because if you look at it, even the Nigerian government now and then they will say that remittances have improved, you understand, and then they keep making a lot of noise and hyping it that it is source of dollars which Nigeria is lacking, and it is required so that it can bring the value of the dollar down, and then the naira can like actually move up. So it is on one hand, it's not a welcome development, but I'm sure that Canada has their reason for trying to put that particular policy in place. But for us
We're
here in Nigeria
populated.
and for Nigeria, yes, Nigeria should actually key into that particular government initiative of providing the required skills so that can be able to jabber seamlessly, and then with the assistance and diplomatic relations that Nigeria has with Canada, and then now that it's the government itself that is trying to export these skills to foreign countries, I'm sure that if proper framework is put in place, that might not actually affect Nigerians. You understand? That is on that, and then on the issue of the law, as the new NBA president says, yes, in Nigeria is more or less, I don't want to use that word, but it's actually what it is. It's actually the jungle, you understand? It is those ones that, those Nigerians that are patriotic, law-abiding, that the law seems to like, handle, while those ones that are something else, the laws and the government itself tends to like handle with kid gloves. Let's take, for example, the issue of the kidnapping that we just discussed earlier on. You can see that victims don't get any assistance from government. They don't get any medical attention. They don't get any refunds, so to say, or reimbursement, so to say. You understand? But then you hear that government is saying, okay, the best thing to do is to like let's engage these kidnappers. Let's negotiate with them. Let's rehabilitate them. You understand? But then on the other part, these kidnappers have maimed, they have killed, they have destroyed, they have bombed villages, you understand, stolen, collected a lot of money from people, and nothing seems to be happening to them. Meanwhile, the victims, those ones that have passed away, those ones that have been killed, it is only the Almighty God that can actually compensate them, because the government doesn't seem to care. Let me give you an example. I'm not sure that anything is being done or will be done in the case of the emir that was recently killed by the kidnappers. You understand? Ideally, there should be compensation. Who will pay the compensation now? Is it the federal government? Is it the state government? Is it the security agencies that have not been able to rescue the emir from the kidnappers? Then nobody knows. You understand? And then tomorrow or next tomorrow, you hear that the government is saying, okay, the best thing to do is let's sit down with these kidnappers, let's negotiate, let's rehabilitate them. So it is something that, okay, look also at the issue of the militants, you understand? we stop people from moving about freely, doing their business so that they can take care of themselves and their family, you understand? But then nothing seems to be done to them, you understand? Instead, government is handling them with kid gloves, you understand? Meanwhile, the essence of government is to provide welfare and security to its citizens. Once that welfare and security is not there, then more or less there's no government in that environment. That's why I said I don't want to use that word, being Nigeria being a jungle, but that is what actually it is. It is the powerful that is the weakling, and then the life goes on. Nothing happens. It is actually sad for us in Nigeria, but we're hoping that in the nearest future we'll have a government that is up and doing, that will actually take the constitution and hold it wholeheartedly and provide that welfare and security that is actually desired and needed by Nigerians.
All right.
I think this is what we like to say. We're taking a break, everyone, on the papers this morning. Rabiu, thank you so much for taking our time to join us this morning. Of course, we have a few more papers coming your way. That will be after we would have brought you the Global AM News at the top of the hour. Thank you so much, Rabiu Adamu, for your time with us.
Thank you.
Looking at the papers this morning.
Thank you, our viewers.
All right, everyone, we're taking a quick break now, and after the papers, after the news, we'll bring you more headlines from across our national dailies today, and then we'll have two big discussions coming your way in the course of the program this morning. All you can do is just stay with Juma and I on Global Morning. Global Morning is your ultimate destination for engaging political and economic matters. I am Uyi Agmofrebe.
And don't forget to include social discussions. Tune in every weekdays from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. I am Queen Agaba.
For insightful breakfast ideas, business summaries, sports highlights, international and local news perspective, I am Anthony Momodu.
Don't miss the in-depth analysis of current and political issues by the Global Morning team and experts. I am Jumai Manson.
Catch Global Morning here on Global Television. Getting on the action. I am Edikan Michael.
We are
the Global Morning team.